to all those above me that watch over me, to all of you, my fave parapeeps on this side of the veil, welcome. This is Sean Whittington's Paranormal Ministry Live 2.0. I'm your host, Father Sean. I'm a ordained priest with the United States Old Catholic Church, a fully professed brother in the Old Catholic Benedictines of Immaculate Mary, a member, a team member of the Society of Saint Benedict, and co-founder of Ghost Be Gone. Having said that, if there's anything you want to know about my wife and I and our ministry work, go to our website, www.ghost-b-gone.biz. Keep in mind if you're there to visit, a lot of cool things to see, but my wife and I, we don't charge for our ministry work, helping people with their paranormal issues. So if you notice the donate button and you're able to do so, God bless you if you can send in a small donation. Click on it, send my ministry in a small donation. I promise you it'll be appreciated from the bottom of our hearts. And trust me, we'll put it to good use. Everything's there, my books, my online course, a place where you can make an appointment to speak with me about your spiritual issues. And that's it. What else is going on? There's a lots of things going on, but I'm excited about today. This is the second appearance on the show by my guest. First time he was on, it was obvious that an hour wasn't long enough, so we had to get him back as soon as we could. So he's in the green room waiting patiently. And also, this is another Friday show, and it's also special for another reason. I have a co host. So without further ado, let's bring her on. You know, what can I say about her? She's a friend. I've known her forever. She is my publisher, and she is also the owner of Stellium Books, the one and only Annette Munich.
Hey, thank you so much, Sean. Lovely words. I appreciate it. I'm so happy to be here and happy that we have Brian back because he was so interesting. So, just in really good spirits for the show today.
Absolutely. Real quick, let's check the prayer urn. And you know what? I haven't been on my game here with the prayer urn is overflowing with prayers. I can only
We
pull
should
one
say
today.
a quick little prayer for every prayer in the prayer urn.
Yeah, I promise I will do that. Um, Julie from Arizona. Hi, Julie. My whole family is sick. Is this is this too funny and struggling to get better? Please pray for good health to come our way. P.S. Could you please light a candle too? You know what? I'm going to include all kinds of people. I haven't been feeling real special. Um, Zach is not feeling good, so I'm going to add Zach to the prayer list here for this prayer. So yes, let me offer up a prayer for Julie, her family, Zach, and everybody else out there that may not be feeling too well. How are you feeling, Annette?
Actually, I feel pretty good today, but I didn't feel good yesterday. So, I'm very thankful to be feeling better.
Okay, here we go. This is a good prayer. I offer this prayer up for Zach and Julie. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Sacred Heart of Jesus, I come to ask you for the gift of restored health, that I may serve you more faithfully and love you more sincerely. I want to be well if it is your will and redounds to your glory. If, on the other hand, it is your will that my sickness continue, I want to bear it with patience. If in your divine wisdom I am to be restored to health and strength, I will strive to show my gratitude by a constant and faithful service rendered to you, my loving Savior and Redeemer, and my God. Amen.
Amen.
Zach, I hope you feel better, brother. Um, let's check. Oh, I gotta light a candle. I haven't lit a candle for anybody in a long time. Julie, I light this candle for you, and it'll burn with us here during the show. Then I will very carefully transfer it to the room where everybody else's candles are burning, and it will continue to burn until it's done burning. And I offer this candle up for you. May the Holy Spirit enter and intervene in your lives of you and your family right now and restore health to all of you. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Okay. Um, Before we bring out our very special guest, and he looks very handsome today, I had people reaching out to me. Where have I seen that guy before? They looked at his picture on the show page. Where have I seen that guy before? He looks so familiar. So I let everybody know, well, he's an actor. All in addition to everything else he does, and we'll go over all of that stuff. He's also an actor, so they probably saw him in something, and everybody always goes, "Oh yeah, maybe I did." So we'll ask him about that too. But is there anything you would like to tell anybody about authors? We have one of your friends and one of your authors in the next 2 weeks, the next two Fridays in a row, back to back. We got Thomas Freeze
Right.
next week, who's one of your authors, and then Kelly Schaefer.
Right.
So there you go.
And I think that I'll say something about Thomas because I've been talking a lot about Kelly, and her book is The Paranormal Pages, and it's a collection of 12 of her experiences, and each experience is its own chapter. But Thomas, he writes really interesting books about the spiritual meaning of trees. So we put out his second book last autumn, and it's called Sacred Trees. And it's also filled with stories. So, and his first book is called Tree Spirits Wood Wisdom. And they're both on Amazon. And they're kind of like reference books where people could look up different meanings of different trees and woods. And he's a woodworker, and he makes and sells different things. And one of the coolest things he makes these little comfort birds for people that he carves, and they're gorgeous. So we'll be able to talk about that and see some of his birds.
Very, very cool. Looking forward to that. It was funny. I always stalk my guests about a week before their appearance. So I was actually stalking Thomas a little bit, saw the books, and then I was on another podcast last night it was, and I got to tell one of my famous tree stories. I didn't plan that, but I got to tell one of my famous tree stories from my property here, and I thought about him again. So I'm looking forward to talking to him about that next week. So
I have a recent tree story too, so I have to remember to bring that up.
very, very cool. All righty. Well, listen, this guy, what doesn't he do? Like I said, he's an actor. One of the friendliest guys I know. He's the creator, founder, CEO, whatever other title hat he can put on for Parapost Network Central, which our show is simulcast on. He's got a team called Hunt Phobia. He is the creator of uh, all kinds of stuff. What am I forgetting about him? Global Ghost Hunt, which is coming up. We got to talk to him about that. And I have some other things. I'm gonna let you start with the questioning because I know you got kind of cut off at the end of the last time he was here, and you had some other questions to ask him. So since I always kick off the show, once we bring him out, I think I might let you guys chat for a little bit, and then I'll jump in wherever I get a chance to. How's that sound?
Sounds good.
Brothers and sisters, please welcome to the show one and only, the very handsome, very talented Mr. Bryan J. Laverty.
Hey, how are you?
What's going on, brother?
Not nothing much actually. Just busy, busy, busy. I have to say two things. One, it looked like when you said to Annette, "I'm going to let you start." It looked like you could see a little bit of fear in her face that I'm starting. And two, that I laughed when you said you were stalking Thomas. Coming from you, that's funny.
And I stalk you too. I used to tell my guests that when they came on, I
Yeah.
would say, last week I was stalking you, and I found this out about you. And I don't even know where I brought that up, but I thought somebody, people started. I think a guest or two might have even accused me of doing that. I would come up with something they didn't expect me to ask, and they would go, "What do you?
Mm.
How'd you find that out? Are you stalking me?" And I think I probably found that funny,
Mm.
and it just kind of stuck with me. But yeah, I was stalking you last week too, and looking at some of the questions I didn't get to,
Yeah.
and I know
I
Annette
s-
had some too. But so thank you so much for coming back And
Yeah.
hopefully you'll have fun today and you'll want to come back
Oh,
again.
of course. I always have fun here. I did see one of those comments today in the post of you saying that guy looks familiar. It was funny last week. Somebody messaged me through Messenger and they go, "Do you have a twin?" I go, "No." I go,
Yeah.
"I just saw you on TV." And I go, "Okay, what did you see me on?" And she said the show. And I go, "Oh yeah, I did that show. I did that show about a year and a half ago." And she goes, "I didn't know you were an actor." I go, "How did you not know? It's in my profile. I'm always talking about it." So, but yeah, I get that. I get it a lot actually. I even get it when I go outside too. So it's okay.
Before
It's nice.
before I, yeah, I know. Before I let Annette have you for a little bit, I have to ask you this. Acting. I remember I did quite a few plays like through junior high school and high school. Had some lead roles. I
Mm,
remember one role, David and Lisa. I was on. There was like in the whole script, there was one page in the whole play that I wasn't on. So I mean, in junior high school and high school, that was a lot of pressure. And I remember um,
mm,
I don't think I could remember a line now if I still acted. I don't think I could remember a line now to save my life. What type of stuff do you do as an actor to prepare for that and to hone your skills, like going to acting school or something?
mm,
Um, and do you have a favorite type of character to play, or is that like a big no? An actor shouldn't think that way, and he should be
mm.
open to doing anything.
Well, I think any actor out there is, they would say that they do, there is a role that they really enjoyed. There's been a lot of different roles that I enjoy. Really, the way I prepare, first of all, me memorizing a script, I can do that. And, and listen, I'm not bragging or anything like that. It's just the way I do things. I can memorize a script in about 3 days.
Really?
Yeah, and I just don't memorize my lines. I memorize everybody else's lines too, because
Wow.
yeah, and which I've encountered some directors that are very surprised when I'm able to say other people's lines. Like for example, I was on set. What was it? Two films ago, one film ago, or one show ago. There was a guy that he was my, I guess, partner. We were playing cops. I was a cop. I was a detective, and he was as well. And he came on set not knowing any of his lines.
Oh no.
And so to say the least, the director wasn't too happy. And because I knew his lines, the director gave me some of his lines, which which I didn't really want him to, because that's, for me, that's kind of a no-no. And with some actors it is, because then it feels like the other actor's being undermined. And so I don't like to go down that road, but again, this is the way I do things. I memorize everybody's lines. Even if I'm not on set for that particular scene, I still memorize those people's lines.
Do you
It
mind
helps
if I
me.
asked you? I
Yeah.
know you live in Canada.
Yes.
And I don't watch. I have a couple of favorite TV shows. Sharon and I together have a few things we like to watch. But could you recommend something that you're in that I could find and watch? Because I'm so interested in watching you in a role.
Well, the last one I did just came out in January. It was See No Evil, the show See No Evil, and I played a killer in this one, which
Really?
was really really interesting because I'd never played a killer before. Because normally my roles are like a sergeant, detective, cop, authority roles, supervisor. I even played a role as a supervisor in a quarry, and that show was called History Erased, and that was a good little part. It's basically about what would happen if we didn't have these particular things in our world today. Would our world be different? Like there was I believe that episode was called
And this is
I
a
believe it,
series or a movie?
History of Race is a series,
How about
and
See No Evil?
See No Evil's a series, and it came out in January, and I played a killer I can't remember, I can't recall the title now.
I'm gonna find that. I'm gonna look. I'm gonna check you out, man.
But it came out in January. It's the I believe it's the 12th season or 11th season. But it was good. I will get you the name of that. I will get it to you and I'll send it to you in Messenger.
Very cool.
I think it was Killer in a Barrel or something like that, or Body in a Barrel, I believe it was called. And this guy that I played was, I have to be honest, wasn't the smartest individual. He killed somebody over $80,000, and he stabbed this person 66 times and got 56 years in jail. And what I'm talking about when he's not the brightest is when he killed this person, he put him in a oil barrel and was going to throw him out, in the bay. And he did that, but the barrel was 4 feet high and the water was only 3 feet deep.
Yeah, so there you go.
He wasn't the smartest person in the world, but
was there a little tight casting there or no?
Honestly, it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun to play that because I'd never played that kind of role before. And people that saw it, and even when I was doing the filming, my very last scene, somebody came up to me from the crew and said, "My God, you play a killer really, really well."
Good for
and
you,
I thought you were a killer in that one particular scene. So that's always nice to hear.
Oh,
I saw it about 2 weeks ago, and it's interesting. It's interesting. So, but hey, listen, I know there's a lot of actors out there that won't play certain roles, but for me personally, give me the role and I'll play it, and it doesn't matter what it is. And I remember there was one commercial that I was out for, and it was for X-Lax. And and people say, why would you want to do a commercial like that? So it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
Or have to learn the what's the song? What's the pink liquid? And there's a song.
Pepto-Bismol. Yeah. And
you have to learn that song and do that one. That would be a good one too.
There's a lot of times where you have to have fun with these self-tapes, right? And I was doing a self-tape for a liquid detergent for a dishwasher. And so me and my agent came up with an idea. Let's make this a little bit funny. So what I did was, because I had to hold plates and put them in a dishwasher for the self-tape, I cut up big pieces of fruit and taped them to the plate, and was showing how good this liquid detergent was, that it was able to wash off this. But I never ended up getting it. So we found it funny, but I'm not sure if they did. So yeah. But
well, I'm going to shut up now because I promised I'd let Annette get, start chatting with you first. And of course, I always go back on my word and
it's okay.
Jump in there.
That's
so
okay.
I'll let Annette chat with you for a little bit.
Sure.
Hi, BRYAN.
Annette, by the way.
Welcome.
Hi.
Back.
Nice to see you again.
Nice to see you.
Yeah.
Most of my questions are about Global Ghost Hunt and some of the locations you've been to, and not just in Canada and America, but abroad, and anything remarkable, any favorite places, any places you want to go to, any places you want to go back to. And that should be this show. That should fill up the rest of the time that we have, because that's a big thing to ask. But, Global Ghost Hunt, that's really intriguing.
Yeah, Global Ghost Hunt really started. There was another event out there similar, and I was a part of them, and I decided that I didn't want to be a part of it anymore after a couple of weeks because of stuff we won't really talk about, but I just didn't really want to be a part of it. So I decided, you know what, I had some thoughts about starting my own, but I wanted it to be a lot different from the other event that I was with. So that event is 1 day, like 24 hours. Ours is 10 days. And the reason I did 10 days, and there is a specific reason why I did 10 days, was because I noticed with the other event, if people didn't have Wi-Fi or they weren't able to stream live, they were SOL, basically. So that was one of the main reasons. If people are in the global ghost hunt and they're supposed to go live, and for some odd reason they're having a lot of problems, what we tell them is to record it for 2 hours, go home, send us the footage, and we'll play it during those 10 days. So that was the real main reason why I wanted it to be a little bit longer, because of those. You just don't know. You can go to a location where one day the Wi-Fi or your data or whatever is perfect. Then you go back the next day and there's nothing. You can't hook up. You can't go live. You can't do anything. So that was one of the main reasons why I did it for 10 days. There were other things that I wanted to do differently. I found that there just wasn't enough promotion for it for the teams. So that's why I provided the teams with 2 promo videos and 2 thumbnails 4 months prior to the event. So 1 month will be a promo video, the next month will be a thumbnail, and then so on. So that was different. And I just and then obviously when it came to the live, I wanted to provide more areas where it's going to be seen. Now, the great thing is, because of the admin team and they're working with me, they will go into those lives and share them out to a bunch of places too. So that way we have 20 or we have 10, 12 people on the admin team. It gets shared to 10 pages from each member. Look where it's going. It's going everywhere. You're going to see it everywhere. So I wanted to have a bigger audience than the other one. And so there were a lot of things that were different compared to the other one, but that's the way I wanted to do it. Of course, there were other things that we learned as we went along that I go, okay, well, we're going to need to change that and do this instead of doing that. And for example, this particular event, we've changed the packages because we only had 1 package. Now we have 2 packages because there were teams out there that, because we do have an entry fee of $100 for package A, but some people felt that was a little expensive, especially if they have to pay for the location. So that's why we offer a package B now, where you get a lot of different things, but you only get an hour and a half instead of 2 hours. And that was another thing too, with the other event compared to my event, that they only have an hour. With our event, you have 2.
Very cool.
So I just find that an hour is just not enough time. By the time you get through the walkthrough or the tour guide or whatever, and then you start getting set up for your investigation, you got 20 minutes left.
Yeah.
So I felt 2 hours was going to be plenty enough time for them to do whatever they needed to do in the first hour, and then the next hour they just go wild on their investigation. But with package B, you don't get 2 hours, but you get an hour and a half. So that's still plenty of time to get everything in your investigation. So
what's package B cost?
It's 50.
Is it? I know that you do it twice a year, one later
Yes.
in October.
Yes.
The first one's just next week, I think, right? The 25th?
The 25th, so it's a week and a half away. Yeah.
Is it too late for a team that hasn't got on board yet to get on board? Is it too late?
Yeah, the closing for signups ended on the 5th.
Oh, okay.
And so, but the October is only 5 months away. So
right.
If you want to sign up for the October one, you can sign it. We've already started having signups for the October one.
Very cool.
And so,
And what's the location
what do you mean? What's the location
for October?
What, you mean the dates or the places?
The dates and the places.
Well, the places are up to the teams that sign up on where they're going to investigate.
Okay.
The actual dates is from October 17th to the 27th.
Nice.
Yeah. So
right up before Halloween, and it'll be a variety from everybody posting.
The reason I had to do that was because obviously I'd like to go from Thursday to Sunday. And unfortunately, because the dates changing or the days changing on the dates, so we had to change from the 19th instead of the 19th to the 17th. So I like Sundays to be the very last one, which seems to have worked out in the last 2. So we're definitely growing. we were a little down for this one, but we're still going to have a lot of great investigations, and it's already looking good for October. So, yeah.
And how can, if you're not uh, a member of a team that's involved in the global ghost hunt, but you want to watch these teams at work, how does one do that?
You can go to we're going to be on a lot of different pages. Global Ghost Hunt Facebook page, we're definitely going to be on. The YouTube channel, we're going to be on. We're going to be on Parapost Network Central. We're going to be on Parapost International. We're going to be on Twitter. We're also going to be on YouTube. We're going to be everywhere. You're not going to be able to go to a platform without seeing us.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
Good for you, man.
I'm trying to figure out right now if I can get it on TikTok. TikTok's a little bit different, only because the fact that you have to set up every show. You got to set up every single show, and it has a different link to every single show. So that is time consuming. And so I'm trying to figure out if I can get it on TikTok. And if I can, it will be going up on TikTok Global Ghost Hunt page as well. But because
cool.
we have enough people to go live on that page as well. So, yeah. That was for your prayer. That was for your prayer, Sean.
Oh, very cool. Thank you, Linda. God bless you.
So to say,
sometimes I look down, I go, F.R. Sean, who's that? Oh, I'm Father Sean now.
Oh yeah, congratulations, by the way. But in all, it's going to be a great event, and we're going to have a lot of fun. It's a lot of time. I sit in front of the laptop a lot of hours, because I'm the one that's putting up the lives, and there's going to be recordings. And so last October, we did almost 58 hours on the laptop in 10 days. This one's going to be around 42. So it's a little bit down, but that's okay. It's easier on me. So
when are you know what, this is an obvious question, but
yeah.
When are you going to actually, like, you see a lot of these guys that do similar things like you do, that show up at a lot of the paracons and stuff, but I think this of your event, Global Ghost Hunt, is so much better than like a paranormal conference or a paracon. And if you picked a location to show up yourself, I think that would be awesome. Have you ever thought about doing that?
For me to go on to an investigation?
Right.
Oh, I am. My investigation is going to be shown the Monday.
Oh, very cool. Where are you going?
I'm going to a place called McLean's Auto Wreckers, and it's interesting. I was there last November doing basically a walkthrough. We were invited. It's a graveyard for cars. Now, the unfortunate part for a lot of these cars, they were in accidents that people died. So, but when I was there in November, we had some amazing hits on the SB7. There was a particular part while we were there. I decided that I was going to do an SB7 just to try it, see if I was going to capture anything. So I saw this type of, like, it was like a miniature school bus, and I went around the front of it. I put my SB7 on it. Because I have a JBL speaker that hooks up to my SB7 so you can hear it better. So I put it on there, and this, whatever it was like a bus or something like that, but it was red. So I asked, what is the color of this bus? And it said blue. Well, my buddy went around the corner, and underneath the red color, it was blue.
Very interesting.
And then so I go, okay, let's do this. Go stand in front of that car over there, and I'm going to ask the color of the car that you're standing in front of. And he was kind of standing in between two cars. So it was green, the first one, and then yellow, the second one. And I asked, what is the color of the car that he's standing in front of? It said yellow. He was standing basically right in front of the yellow car. So then there was one particular moment when we were all walking down, and this place is huge. It's got to be 20 acres. 30 acres. There's got to be over 10,000 vehicles on this property, and from buses, trucks, to everything that you can think of when it comes to a vehicle. So I was walking along, and all of a sudden because I can see spirits, I was walking along and looked to my left, and I see a spirit standing right beside a car. And I stopped in my tracks. I go, we got to go to that car. So it was about 20 meters away. And we stopped at the car. I put the SB7. I go, did I see you? And it said, yes. I go, why are you here? Why are you still here? It didn't answer. I go, is there something important in this car? And it said, yes. So it was from that moment on, I go, okay, this is where I'm doing my investigation for the global ghost hunt, because it's an incredible place, and there's a lot of history. Like, we're talking cars from, last year to the, 60s, 50s. They have cars in there.
Do you mind if I give you just I haven't gone ghost hunting in forever, but do you mind if I give you a little bit of advice?
Sure.
If you come across a car that's been crushed down to a cube and you can still hear rock and roll music coming from it, don't investigate that car.
Well, it's interesting you say that, because there is a car in there, from what I understand, from what John will be with me on this investigation. From what I've been told, or from his friend who was there, that there's a vehicle in there right now that's in there, just got there recently, and a family of either 5 or 6 died in this car. So we're going to go to that car and see if they're still there, and hopefully in some way we can help them. I'm going to try to make this investigation on trying to help, instead of just going there just trying to get, because I'm the type of investigator that looks for the answers. I want to know the answers and why you're there. Are the stories true? Whatever it may be, I look for the answers. But in this particular one, it's a sad place. And to be honest, Sean, when you walk into this place, it feels very, very thick.
Oh, yeah, I can imagine.
It feels extremely thick, and it's very, very overwhelming on how much energy is still in this place. And you know what? I always say this when I'm talking about this place, that there's a lot of people out there that loved their cars, that people in the past that have passed away in their car, love their car. Is that the reason why they're still there? I don't know. Hopefully I'll find out some answers, but it's going to be a great investigation.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm looking forward to that. I'm going to try to catch that one. How about some of your other teams that have already entered that are going to be going places? Any location that you're looking forward to watching another team investigate?
Yeah, that's tough, because there's a lot of the places that I love. I'm looking at we have our admin team are going out to investigate as well. I'm really interested in looking at the investigation that CITV's Caught in the Veil's doing, Broadhead Manor. I'm looking forward to that one. There are a couple of graveyard ones that I'm looking forward to. There's all kinds of different. There's a couple of jails that are going to be done as well. I always find jails really, really interesting. I've been to a jail, and up here in Canada, it's about 4.5 hours away from me, and it's a long drive. But then once you get there, you have to park your car. Then you have to walk another 45 minutes to get to the place. And unfortunately, if you go to the summer, you better be wearing bug spray, because you are going to get bitten alive. And that's Burwash Prison. It's an amazing prison. It's big. I don't know what's going on with this place. It wasn't one of those jails that there were real hard criminals. Those type of criminals that would go to that jail would be just staying there until they're transferred somewhere else. These type of prisoners were more like petty thefts, petty crimes, nothing major. But I captured some real interesting stuff there. EVPs, SB7. uh, mainly EVPs and SB7. I haven't been able to catch anything on the camera. Like I've seen them, but I can't get any of them on the camera so other people can see them. So
As long as I've known you, Annette, I don't think I've ever asked you this question. You know so many people in the paranormal field from all different, walks of life in the paranormal under the paranormal community umbrella, and you've published so many paranormal novels over the years. Did you ever do ghost hunting?
A couple of times, but I wasn't really doing, I had my radio show and it was kind of more about interviewing people and trying to understand things better because um, I've been on a few investigations and there were certain things that I showed up for because of people seemed to need help. But I wasn't really a thrill seeker. And it was kind of funny because they would say, "Oh, you gotta come. We're gonna do a lock-in. We're gonna stay until 7 a.m. It's gonna be wonderful." And I'm like, "How much is this PTSD gonna cost?" Because it's like, of course something's gonna happen. When he was saying a few minutes ago about like a haunted prison, um, I would be really surprised if any old prisons and old hospitals had no activity. That would surprise me more
mm,
than anything else because of all the emotions that,
I agree.
were captured in there and all the sad and traumatic things that happened. So, um, people would send me emails. I live by an old battlefield and I think it's haunted. And it's like,
Probably is. You know,
I'd be more surprised if it were not,
it's
you know.
funny. It's funny. I was going to go to. Well, I was in uh, UK a couple of years ago. I was thinking about going over to France to Normandy,
Oh,
and I would have loved to done an investigation on the beach there. I can't even imagine what that beach would be like.
wow.
Yeah.
I think what was it? How many died on the first day on that beach? Was it
Oh,
something like three? I think it was 3,000 or something like that.
at least.
And I think I don't know what the final number over the time was, but um, that's one place I'd love to go to. And it's not again, it's one of those things where I'm not going just to hunt to hopefully catch something. I'm going on investigations to hopefully find answers.
Right.
And I think I always put paranormal investigators in three different categories. I put the hunters, the ones looking for the answers, and the scientific. I'm in the middle. And then I find that the lot of the YouTubers that are really big, those ones are more about the hunting, not necessarily about the answers or the scientific. And they're looking to get likes and views and stuff like that. But I'm looking at more the answers. So I'm hoping during the global ghost hunt we'll get some investigations that people are going to find the answers that they're looking for. And I'm always very happy when I get the answers.
I would love to see that investigation of the, auto wreck yard.
I
Yeah, it's
know
I
gonna
that's
guess
not.
be
auto graveyard.
that's gonna
I don't
be
know,
on what's
junkyard.
it
What you
was
wouldn't
it
call it junkyard,
25th,
would you?
26th,
What
27th.
auto salvage
Yeah,
yard?
it's 29th. It's on the Monday the 29th. It'll be I believe it's at 8 p.m. or 9 p.m.
That'll be fun.
And it will be everywhere. You won't be able to you won't miss it. But it's going to be it's called Auto McLean or McLean's Auto Wreckers. That's what the place is called. So it's
I
going to
saw a
be
story once kind of like that, and it
uh,
was really scary because the guy that worked at night, it was just one guy there overseeing everything.
mm,
And he was kind of security and he was
yeah.
picking things up on the cameras and go out there and he wouldn't find anything and come back and just the fact of him being there all by himself. And of course this was ongoing, not just go in as a team and leave. This was his life. So
Yeah. It's Yeah, it's interesting. There's one place that, and Sean, you were asking me earlier. There's really one place that I really love to go to, uh, and it's kind of up your alley. It's an abandoned church.
Churches. I've been in many a haunted. People are always
Oh
surprised when
Lord.
I tell them I've been in a lot of haunted churches. They're very surprised. Some of them can be very, very haunted.
Oh, and this is a very very tiny church, and it's in an abandoned kind of town. But
Are there any
that place
donkeys
isn't
involved in this story?
any what
Donkeys
junkies.
involved.
Donkeys? No, no, no. I thought she said junkies. No,
Because
but
Sean had
no,
like the best
no,
donkey
no.
story before, but I was just
I
wondering.
You know what? I'll be honest. I've been to this place 6 times, and I still can't figure out what's going on in this place. There's actually a piano in the church that some keys work, some keys don't, and I've had some incredible moments in that place. There was a book on the piano that we left the room. We came back into the room. We started filming in the room, and the book was thrown off the piano. I left and I've been wanting to get this. I've been wanting to get it for so long. I've been there like 4 or 5 times, and I finally caught it. I put the camera on top of the piano. We left the room. We went to another room. You can hear us in another room doing the SB7. And all of a sudden, on the camera, I caught one key playing on the piano.
Cool.
And I'd always wanted to catch that. But you know what's really interesting is I was there 4 or 5 times, and there was this, and I'm sorry I'm going to say this, but there's this real creepy room, and it's got one chair in it. The room's fairly big, and it's sitting in the middle of the floor doing nothing. It's just sitting there by himself. And in the chair, somebody had written, "Come sit." Well, I will never ever sit in that chair. I put the SB7 on the chair, and I turned it on. I think it was 7 or 8 different highs from completely different people. I said hi, and they all said hi back.
You could always
And
test
it's
it out and like get like a blow up doll and dress it
Nope,
like a
not doing it.
Ghostbuster and
Not
sit
doing
it in
it.
the chair.
I had interesting enough, I had a woman follow me home from that place.
I bet.
And I actually had a medium that I believe is an actual medium, uh, actually tell me it's a woman, and she's very very sad, and she's actually looking for something. She finally figured it out. She was looking for her son. Now what's interesting is I captured I took a picture of one part of the hallway, and I captured uh, a young boy in the camera, and you can actually see a little bit of his top of his body, his shoulders. You can see his head. You can see his eyes in this picture. So I'm assuming that's who she was looking for. So I ended up taking her back, and and she stayed. Apparently, I took her back and she stayed. But apparently, she was very very sad, very very lonely, very very upset, and all those different types of emotions. And she was, I think this person said she was actually lost too. But what I don't understand is why they're still in the church. And that's what I'm trying to find out. Like, we did in the hallway, I took my son's friend with me because he wanted to see this church. And so we were in the hallway, we were doing an SB7, and he actually asked the spirits, "Do you want to leave this place?" It said yes. "Are you trapped?" Yes. So
Hmm.
that was interesting. Why is it trapped there? Why is it trapped there? I don't
I
know.
I have a two-part question for you, and
Yeah.
I'm rudely getting in front of Annette's questions again. But
Mm,
you know, back when I did ghost hunt a little bit, I've been to a couple of locations where the people that own the place knew who I was, and I would say, listen, so it's cool for you to come and investigate here, but don't be, these ghosts are my bread and butter, so don't be crossing anybody over. I
Mm,
always really,
yeah.
that really always didn't sit well with me. And then the second part of I wanted to know what you thought about that. And the second part of the question is, I thought about you last night because I know you're also a big crime guy. You're into the crimes,
Yes.
crime dramas and stuff.
Yeah.
O.J. Simpson had died. And if I wasn't on a podcast last night, I wouldn't have been on social media at all. I decided as soon as I heard he had passed, I decided for 24 hours or maybe even a couple of days, I'm not even going to go on social media because I don't want to see all the people that are going to contact him on a ghost box and find out if he killed his wife and
Mm,
her lover.
it's ridiculous.
So, what do you think about people at these locations that don't want the spirits helped because they charge people to come and investigate? And then, what do you think about these people that, as soon as somebody famous dies, they're contacting them?
Yeah. Your first question, I don't like it at all. Um, if a person is there just to make money on their place being haunted and you're not allowed to cross over the spirits, I have a real problem with that. A real problem with that. And because a lot of times these spirits some of them don't even know they're dead.
Yeah,
And they don't know where they don't know where they are. And I think it's a shame. It's a shame that unfortunately we have those people in this industry. um I can't say a lot about it because just it gets me upset. But um the OJ Simpson thing, soon as I found out that soon as I saw on Facebook that he had passed away, I was just waiting to see
yeah,
what was going to be happening next when it came to the postings. And I saw one post today that I thought that was really not very nice, and it upset me to the point where I was gonna go, okay, I'm done for today, and him this post saying something about OJ's now with his ex-wife that he killed.
oh,
It's
I
like,
saw that one. That was, yeah,
why would you put
poor
that?
taste, very poor taste.
Why would you put that? It's not funny. It's not funny. Whether you believe he did it or not, it's still a human being. And
The thing is, it's not so much OJ, but it's
yeah,
his family. Think
yeah,
about the remaining members of his family that are
yeah,
left behind that have to deal with all
yeah,
of this.
yeah. And I'm in neither place. I'm not saying he did it. I'm not saying he didn't do it. To me, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't affect my life whatsoever. And I don't really have an opinion if he did it or not. But some of the posts I was seeing today, there was even one post that I was told earlier that somebody was talking about how he didn't pay the money to the Goldmans and the Brown family, that he owed like $33 million or something like that. These are things that don't really need to be talked about right now. And, the man just died. Yes, he could have done it. I'm not I'm not going to sit here and say he did or he didn't, whatever. I've already said that, but it's definitely upsetting. And when it comes to these people contacting, I think there's one particular person I think everybody knows, and he's quite popular on YouTube. And I'm not going to say his name because I don't think he deserves any credit. And he will probably be one of the first ones that's going to do it. And I'm pretty sure people know who I'm talking about. And what's interesting about him is I found out how he does what he does. He has his stuff hooked up to a computer and he punches in all the words into the computer, and then it spurts it out on this big box that he has. And I also found out
That's interesting that you bring that up because I was on when I was stalking you, and yeah, I stalked you too last week. I saw that I said, oh, I forgot about that. Go stop and all the equipment, and I saw that on your
yeah,
on your website.
yeah,
Um, let's talk about. I'm sorry, Annette, and I promise I'll shut up after this, and you can talk to him before
That's
we have to
okay.
say
The
goodbye.
show is going great.
Yeah.
I'm
I just
enjoying it. I'm sorry I teased you about the donkey story. I shouldn't have
No,
done
God,
that.
no, please don't say that. You don't need to say
no.
sorry. It's all
She's
good.
talking about the time that I was at a place
He
by
has a
myself
legitimate
investigating,
Donkey Town
and
story.
this
Oh, okay, okay.
I thought
I get
this. I heard I was asking these miners to come up to the bar for a drink, and I had poured shots of whiskey up there and put money out there and said drinks on me, and I was inviting the ghosts to come up, and
okay.
I heard somebody in heavy boots walking up to the bar, and it was getting louder and louder, and I was about like, what's going to happen here, because this is pretty intense. And right when the ghost got up to the bar, there was a hole in the wall here, and a wild horse or donkey, stuck his head through right at that moment and went right in my face. I launched. Next thing I knew, I was out at my car. I left all my equipment behind and everything, and I realized then what had happened, and I just thought that was the funniest thing that
That's
could ever
funny.
have, because I forgot that there was wild horses and donkeys all around this
Yeah.
location, and he heard me in there. This horse or donkey heard me in there talking, and probably came in to maybe see if this guy has a snack or something, or let
Yeah.
me say hi, because they're all
Yeah.
friendly.
Yeah.
But
That's funny.
so that's what she was referring to. But
Okay.
I really
um,
would say at this point, even though that story is not in either of your books, people should buy and read your books because he's got stuff that you just couldn't make it up. It just the most bizarre, unpredictable. You don't know what's going to happen
I
next.
get people all the time in that. I'll tell you, I stopped. I never really sweated it, but I have people all the time that reach out to me and thank me for what I do. Keep doing what you're doing. I'm a big
Yeah, of
fan.
course. Of
And they
course.
admit to me I didn't buy your books, and this is why, because I know they would freak me out. And I'm the
Okay.
kind of person that stuff stays with, and I need to sleep at night so I can get up for work the next day. So I want you to know that I didn't buy them for that reason, because I
Yeah.
just know they would freak me out, and I get that. I totally get that.
Yeah, I was a big fan of before you came to Parapost, I was a big fan of yours too. I saw you on LinkedIn quite a bit. And I know
That's
you were
right. That's
on.
where you and I met. I
Yeah,
forgot where
and
we
I
met.
know you were on, was it Discovery Plus you were on, right? Discovery Plus? Which which
Uh,
which station were you on? Which
there's
TV?
that show is streaming on so many places now, and it just premiered in on Travel Channel Asia, and now I have
Okay.
all these people from Asia reaching out to me.
Yeah.
Apparently, it did
That's
very
where
well in Asia too. But yeah, it's
yeah.
on every. You name it, it's
That's
on
where I
that
first saw it.
streaming.
That's when I first saw you. Um and was intrigued by you. Then I saw you on LinkedIn and we became friends on LinkedIn. And then when you reached out to me and asking me that you wanted to be on Parapost, I went, "Excuse me?"
Well, you
I
had
went,
such a nice
"Excuse me?"
ad. You had such a nice ad you were running for people who had a podcast that might be
Yeah.
interested in coming
Yeah.
aboard there. And
Yeah.
was already watching other shows on
I was kind
Parapost,
of
so I
I
said,
was
"Well, shoot, it doesn't hurt to ask. He can
no,
have,
God no.
and it
God
worked
no. I
out."
was a little bit starstruck. I'll be honest. I get starstruck too. I uh, I remember several years ago. I was at. I don't know if you guys have these stores up there. It's called Shoppers Drug Mart. Have you ever heard of it? It's a drugstore. It's for to get your medications, and you can buy other things in the store as well.
I
Anyways,
have not.
I was in that store, and all of a sudden, who walks right in front of me? Kiefer Sutherland,
Wow.
and
I love that Lost Boys movie.
yeah, and so we talked for a little bit. And what's interesting is I have a very good old friend that's best friends with him.
Wow.
And it's interesting because he always used to talk about him. And I happened to mention that I was friends with Jeff and Jeff, and how I met Jeff. And this is what's really interesting. How I met Jeff was through my old doctor. My old doctor, his godson was Jeff, and Jeff was a big time actor, big time producer. He's actually the manager of the Canadian Tenors.
Oh,
if you've heard of them. They're like the Three Tenors,
Yeah.
but this is the
Yeah.
Canadian version. Have you heard of the Canadian Tenors?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, he's actually their manager.
Wow.
And actually, one of his best friends, his name is Lawrence Follows, is Megan Follows' brother. If you know who Megan Follows is, she used to be Anna Green Gables.
Nice.
So it's interesting, but I kind of got off topic there. So
That's okay. Well, we got about a few, couple 3 minutes before we have to say goodbye. Is there anything you absolutely would like to throw out to the masses before we say goodbye? And then I'm going to ask you the same thing, Annette.
Yeah, I'd really like people to get ready for the 25th. I will let people know that the schedule for the event is coming out on Sunday at 1 p.m. So everybody will know when their investigation is going to be shown or going live. So that is the big one. Global Ghost Hunt starts May 25th and goes to May 5th. So look out for all those investigations. And also, if you're interested and you have a vodcast or a podcast, I like to call them vodcasts because they are video. If you want to come over to Parapost Network Central, bring your vodcast over to our page. Just reach out to us, and we'll get you up there, and you can start streaming to Parapost Network Central. It's free. It helps you grow if you're looking to grow, and you get to connect with other vodcasters on the page. And look at this way. You see all these different vodcasts on the page. You got future guests for your show.
Absolutely.
And
I steal people's guests all the time.
There you go. That's the way to do it. Well, that's what the page is there for, right?
Yeah.
It helps you get guests, and you can bring guests on your show, and that we're on the page. And it's just a nice way. It's like our little own community, so to speak, I guess, in Parapost Network Central. And that's what I wanted it to be, a community for people to come over and watch all these amazing shows, including yours, Sean. And obviously, when you have your co-host Annette, and something just flew past me. And something just flew past me right now. So apparently I have about 13 spirits here still. I had 20. I've been able to get rid of 7, but I still have 13.
Good for you.
Why? I don't know. But so Parapost Network Central, if you're interested in bringing your vodcast over, message us in the chat and the messenger, and we'll get your show up.
Brother, I love you and respect you.
Thank
you
you
for coming back.
too,
I'll
man.
have you back.
Yeah.
Again.
I'm going to bring you on Through the Lens too.
Very good. I'm ready. Annette,
cool.
Anything you'd like to say to your to our guest before I say goodbye to him?
Yeah, you have to come back. We could talk for hours and hours.
Oh,
and hours.
I know.
He said he was going to let me talk, and he only let me talk like this much.
I know.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
And then I
So,
wasted my time.
What I'm going to do next time?
Like
what I'll do next time I have him back, I will have you started it, and then I'll go on a lunch break or something.
Just put yourself. No, he can watch. Just put himself on mute.
Yeah, just mute myself. Bring a snack in here. I'll have something to eat. I'll read.
But I wanted to talk about Called Into Darkness is coming out soon. Krista Florio. That's going to be a really great book. It's awesome.
Okay.
Brother, cool. I will see you soon. Have a great weekend.
Have a great weekend. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
We enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Annette, I love and respect you too. Thank you so much for being here. I'll see you the next 2 Fridays in a row, back to back with guests that you lined up.
Thomas Freeze coming up.
All righty. Have a great weekend, sweetie.
All right. Have a great weekend.
All righty. Bye-bye. That was a great show. Bryan J. Laverty and Annette Munich. And I'm dropping all my stuff here. Don't forget, guys, keep Zach in your prayers. He's not feeling well. And I feel bad that he even thought he should still do the show today with him not feeling good. He's a real trooper. So on that note, I want to thank Zach and Adrian Clayton for co-producing my show, because I literally couldn't do it without them. And I'll be praying for Zach to feel better. USOCC.org, BishopJamesLong.com, the church I belong to. You can find links to night prayer and Bible study there if you're interested. Check out Zach's website, communitypayitforward.us. You know who next week's guest is. You can find me on Facebook as Lawrence Morais. If you are one of the few people that haven't seen Eli Roth Presents The Legion of Exorcists yet, name it, and that's where it's streaming. So you can find it on every streaming service. Thank you to Things Network. Thank you to Parapost Network Central. Thank you to PACT, little p, capital ACT, Podcasting for All Coming Together channel. Thank you to Temple of Phoenix Rising Entertainment. And thank you to Spirit Alabama for all of those networks simulcasting my show. God bless you all for that. And it's time now for a bad joke. I'm going to pull a bad joke that one of you sent in out of this haunted carnival barker hat. And it's my poor attempt to put a smile on everybody's face before I say good night and have a great weekend. What did the socks say to the pants? Sup, britches? Good night, Danny. Good night, Jack. Good night, dog. Good night, Harold. Rest in peace. Good night, Ernie. Good night, Bill. Good night, Dan. I love you all. God bless you all in the name of the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit. Peace.